They said that the revolution would not be televised, but they didn't mention anything about the next revival. Why are so many people coming out the closet as Christians? We're going to get into that today and a lot more on the Walk Talk. Welcome to Walk Talk, the Faith in Motion podcast, where two regular guys talk about their walk with Christ. We're not pastors, we're not priests, just passionate followers of Jesus, here to give an account of the hope that lies within us. We don't shy away from the tough topics or the challenging scriptures. We just share our faith, and we hope that you find it helpful. We're your hosts, Randy Dupree and PJ Verdon. Thanks for joining us today. All right, brother. So yeah, there's more and more high-profile people are coming out as either, outspoken believers, Christians, or at least people who are honestly entertaining,
The
the
idea.
thoughts of,
Yeah.
the idea. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Man, I think it's awesome. It's beautiful, man. And you've definitely seen a surge of it lately, and I do believe that, we're in a state of revival, man. I do see, like, I mean, the signs are everywhere, and again, it just kind of feels like things are bubbling up, man. And it is cool to see so many people, get to know Jesus, and especially on these huge platforms, man. It's wonderful.
So we've both been hearing about it for a little while now. It's nothing new, but I mean, you brought it up, brother. So tell us what started this. Why are we talking about this today? What was it that jumped out at you out of all the various people that, have been talking about faith, talking about Christianity, having discussions about the Bible? What was it that made you think, "Hey, let's get into this?"
Well, it's definitely something I've been wanting to talk to and speak towards for a long time because, man, you see it everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is
And
awesome, by the way.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But it's the people that it's happening to that was just
Right.
intriguing, and I know that it's been very noticeable. But the cool thing, I guess, that just kind of sent it over the edge for me as of lately was uh, Theo Vaughn, a well-known comedian, does his own podcast as well, a huge podcast. I think it's called This Past Weekend, and so a couple days ago, man, I kept seeing these clips of pop up of him basically talking about God and like in a very real and genuine way, and and it's like you could almost see the struggle within him, man,
Yeah.
it was beautiful, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like this is
Yeah.
somebody who is notorious for saying very off the wall, outlandish
Right.
things, and is very funny. But to see this serious
Yeah.
side was is just is awesome.
And this one hit a little bit close to home, literally, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Theo
Oh,
Vaughn, for anyone who doesn't know, is also a fellow Louisianian.
yeah. That's right. He's from
Is
Louisianian.
that how you say it?
Yep.
Louisianian?
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, from Covington. So yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, and honestly, man, the crazy thing is so I saw these clips of him saying this, and I'm like, how did we get here? And so I watched the not all of the episode, but the majority of it. And man, I'll be honest, like he kind of shares a testimony that really resonated with me. It was very similar to a lot of thoughts and feelings that I have had and honestly have been having with trying to you know, deal with some strongholds
Yeah.
and some traumas that I feel like I need to let go in order for me to progress in my walk with God today, in real time. And so it was cool, man. So if you don't mind, like I know you haven't seen this, and I've been kind of telling you. So
Yeah,
um,
I've been dying to see what you're talking about. So let's do it. You ready
all
to
right,
pull it up?
yeah, let me go ahead and share this with you.
All right. Let's take a look and hear what Theo Vaughn has to say.
What's the point? We
So
only
from
get,
what I understand, like
the
he'll
one
get
go
these
around,
callers that'll
but
call in and kind of share some
I'm not
stuff
gonna
with
like
him
waste
and
my
look
youth.
for
I'm not
some
gonna waste the
advice. And I
opportunity.
guess that's what kind of
But I'm gonna
initiated
push
this
my
response
goals
from
and make
him.
them,
Gotcha.
yeah.
And I appreciate you being so articulate in your call and doing your best to share as honestly as you could what was going on. I'll try to share. I've been struggling, man. The past like couple years, I've had, it's been a struggle in certain ways with certain behaviors that I'm just not proud of, right? Or really just behaviors that I didn't want to do anymore. Um, and I couldn't change it. I couldn't change the cycle. And even as I say this, I'm afraid that I'll fall back into those behaviors. But I'll tell you what for me has been helpful recently. And I'm sorry if I sound a little animated. I've been like going through this in my own life recently, and it's on the tip of my thoughts and feelings. Sometimes I realized for myself, I would pray to God to help me get away from certain behaviors in my life. But at the same time that I was praying, there would be a part of me that knew I was probably going to do those things again, that I was probably going to do those things again. Like a big God, please help me. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to have this behavior. But there'll be a little part of me that was like, I know even as I ask for God's help that I'm going to do it again. I would know that. So I started praying like this. I started praying like, God, please help me with this. This is a broken part of me that I bring to you. I need help with it. And then I would add to my prayer, I would say, and even God, even as I pray to you right now, there's a part of me that knows I'm probably lying to you. There's a part of me that knows I'm going to do that behavior again. So can you come into that part of me and help me there? Help me in the part of me that knows as I pray that I'm lying.
Wow.
Alrighty.
All right, man. Wow. That was something. Yeah. Theo Vaughn. I don't know where he stands. I'm not, I've listened to him a little bit. I've not like heard him really talk about his faith before. But I am a person who likes to like listen to people who are like struggling with their faith. I mean, I've shared this with you before. It's one of the reasons why I always loved DMX's music, because I could hear it in his music that he's somebody who messes up a lot, but at the same time, he has, you could hear it in his music that God's calling him away from all that stuff, but he's still like, is in the battle and the struggle. And that's something that's very relatable for me.
Absolutely. I think it's relatable to everybody. I think that's part of the reason why testimonies are so powerful, man, because, it's like, it's one of these things that we connect us all, right? We've all been like, whenever you start walking this thing out, you go through that, man, and you feel that. And it's just cool to see, you know what I mean? Like these other people, like you could even kind of tell like his demeanor shifted, like whenever it's almost like, like you're witnessing firsthand that battle, that struggle that's going on the internal. And man, yeah, it really caught me off guard.
Yeah. And to hear him just talk about that, like, it's so true, man. I know I've been there too. I know I've prayed prayers and asked God to give me the strength to overcome things. And like Paul, right? Remove this thorn from me. And God's response is, my grace is sufficient. And it's like, I hear Theo saying that, like, God, I know as I'm praying this that it, part of me is lying to you. It's like, wow, like that is some self-awareness right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
And yeah, man, that's like, that that's a challenge. I feel a challenge from that, like, like God's challenging me to say,
right.
hey, like, yeah, can you be this real? And, can you be this honest about, the things that you pray for, especially in regards to like things that you struggle with?
And that's really what struck me, man, because here is somebody who seems like they're in the beginning stages, right? They're just trying to figure out like, is this what I want? Is this whatever? And
Yeah,
to
man.
have that kind of awareness to like, man, like to be, you're right. That's the way. And I believe that that's what God expects from us. God, he already knows, but we always feel like we're hiding something from him. Like we have this dirty little secret in the back of our mind that he don't know about. And I think that that's what he wants. He wants us to be upfront and honest and real and raw like that
We're
with
naked
him.
and ashamed, and we're hiding in the bushes
Right.
as if God doesn't know we're there.
Right, right. So yeah, man, and then look, that kind of caught me off guard, man, and like, there's one more part that I like to share with you, but before we get to it, man, like, in between this, like, he's really like he just continues, like, he's telling God, like, I want you to work in like the deepest cores of me. He's like, I don't, he's like in the like, just dude, it was wild. I was just like, not expecting it, but it's beautiful to see. And in the same way, I'm sure, I know we've been in situations where, you're sitting there watching somebody share their testimony, and it's like this part of you feels connected to them. Like, man,
Yeah.
like I've been there. So,
And
yeah.
it just reminds me, just hearing him just reminds me of the Psalm, where it says, search me, O Lord, know my heart, see if
You know,
there's
my
any offensive ways in me. Right. It's like, wow, it's like that's very much what it reminded me of as I was listening to him speak. So yeah, let's hear what else he has to say.
All right, yeah, good deal, man. Like I love it, and it's to God be the glory, man. He's working. He's definitely working, doing some big things, and I love to see his handiwork. Okay, check this out.
But if there's a part of me that doesn't even want the best for me, then there's something inside of me that is off. So that's something that's been helping me, uh, because some of it's been coming true. And I don't know if it's been coming true. I don't know if that's a term, but uh, I don't know. I'm starting to just feel something different.
Amen.
And then I was looking on this Bible, and there's a story called John 5, and it's about a guy who's at these pools. And some people follow the Bible, some people don't. That's fine. This is just a story that I'm reciting here. Um, and and Jesus is at the pools, and it's in Bethesda, and they're like, there's a sick man there, and he's been sick for a long time. And Jesus asks him, "Do you want to be healed?" He asks him, "Do you want to be healed?" And that's a crazy question, because if I get healed, then I'm different.
Mm.
If somebody gets healed, they have a new story.
Hey friends, I hope you're enjoying the podcast, and I just want to take a minute to tell you about my book, Everyday Lead. So if you haven't already purchased the book, it's available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. And if you have already purchased the book, then thank you so much for your support. Please leave me a review. It helps out a lot. If you're wondering what it's about, well, I'll just tell you, I have 25 years of working in aerospace manufacturing, leading lean transformation, continuous improvement, and Six Sigma projects. And I've tried to take all that knowledge and experience and simplify it so that the average person with no manufacturing experience would not only understand the concepts, but would also be able to apply some very simple tools to their own processes to help eliminate waste. So it doesn't matter whether you're baking a cake or whether you are a nurse or a doctor working in the medical field, or you are an accountant or an attorney. Anywhere there is a process, there is going to be waste. And I'm not talking about rubbish. I'm not talking about things that are left over. I'm talking about defects, overproduction, waiting, non-utilized talent, transportation, inventory, motion, excess processing. This simple book, and as you guys can see, it's a very short read here. You can probably get through it in just a couple hours. Basically will help you to understand what that waste looks like in your process and give you some basic guidelines on how to eliminate it. So thank you for your time. I hope you check out the book and enjoy the rest of the show. Yeah. Yeah.
That'll preach, bro. That'll preach.
That will. It makes me wonder, like, regardless if he heard that from, a sermon or if those are his original thoughts. I mean, it's great to hear him sharing. I love when I hear someone who has a platform, sharing about Christ and about their faith and about, prayer and about the Bible and their insights on a story like that. I mean, again, whether this was his quiet time with the Lord and he's reading the word, or whether he's listening to a sermon on Sunday at church, the fact that he's sharing this, this message and these thoughts, it's just great to hear. And it's, what a powerful, like, question. Like,
Yeah.
we never really think about that, right? It's like, why would Jesus even ask that question? Do you want to be healed? It's like, of course the guy wants to be healed. He's at the pool every day trying to get in to be healed, but he doesn't take that for granted. Jesus doesn't take that fact for granted. He still asks the question, do you want to be healed?
100%. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like I never like whenever I heard Theo Von say that's a crazy question, I'm like, what? Why? And then
Yeah.
like he elaborates on it, and he kind of gives some of his testimony in the end, and I thought that was beautiful. And like I said, it resonated with me.
Yeah.
But Ben, like that's one of those things, like from the perspective of a believer, I would say, you're like, who, of course, who wouldn't want to be healed? But for the person on the other side who finds their identity in the way that they're in their sickness, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, are you ready to be a new creation? And are you ready to uh hold yourself accountable to everything that comes with that healing? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's wild. That's something that I feel like I'm like I said, I'm working through right now. So it's good stuff, man.
Well, thanks for sharing that, man. Because yeah, I mean, I think that's that's very good food for thought, and it's very encouraging to see from Theo, and like we've discussed in the past, there's multiple people who are in positions of influence who honestly it's shocking for some of them to hear Theo's a comedian, and for people who you wouldn't expect, yeah, we all know like Chris Pratt is a Christian, right? Like we expect to hear him say things about Jesus and talk about his faith, but when you start to hear from other folks, you and I have talked in the past like about Jordan Peterson, how he has been
Right.
wrestling with his faith. There's things that he says and does that you and I probably would say, "Dude, just embrace it," right? But at the same time, it's just it's his own way. It's his own way of wrestling
Yep.
with God, and
Yep.
and it's great to hear more and more people, coming out and being outspoken. I think the world needs more of that. So it's very encouraging.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, there's a long list, man. Like, I don't know if you've seen, Justin Bieber came out, you know what I mean? Like
Is it
Russell
Beaver
Brand.
or Bieber?
Nah, don't not one of those. But yeah, so he,
I
another one
have
that was
not. And what did he say? I mean, we don't have to get
like,
into it too deep,
well,
but I mean,
I don't know a whole lot, but I just saw that, like, I mean, he even like was singing in churches and stuff, like actual like gospel music, and it's one of these stories that you see. I guess he's been in headlines for wrestling with drug and alcohol abuse and stuff like that, and
yeah,
and having the
yeah.
money and the fame and getting to this spot where he's just like, I need something else. Like none of this stuff is satisfying or fulfilling this desire,
Well,
this hole that I have in me.
and it's a nice reversal, man, because it's like, you remember when we were coming up, you had like the Destiny's Childs of the world who started off in the church singing in the gospel band and
Yeah.
things like that, who
Yeah.
then went secular for, the fame and the fortune and whatnot. And not that I'm saying there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but to see people who are already, have quote unquote made it and have been successful in their trade, in their craft, in their art, to then turn and say, you know what? Like, as successful, as great as this is, and as much as I have, there's still something missing. And I think I know what it is. And I think it's the Lord. That's very good. I mean, we know that Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes, and, we know that Solomon, you know, gives us that same message, right? But to see like the modern day Solomons,
100%. Yeah.
to give us their perspective is awesome.
It is awesome, man. And I mean, there's countless stories. One of the initial ones that caught my attention that kind of sparked me wanting to have this conversation. And it was a while back. I think it's been at least over a year, was Russell Brand.
Yeah.
And,
Well, real quick, just to clarify, I'm not saying modern day Solomons as in they're anywhere near as wise as Solomon. I just mean like as successful and as wealthy as he was. To then see that all of that pursuit is just chasing the wind, like he says it.
all
That's
right.
what I meant.
All
Sorry,
right.
sorry to cut you off. Yeah,
No, no,
Russell Brand.
you're good. Yeah. So Russell Brand came out, and I mean, he was very
He's another
famous.
one.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
very famous for being very just self,
He
self,
he
self.
he the
100%.
the he the out.
I think they both fit. I think they both work. Right. Right, right. And so, that happened, and just like there's just been multiple people, man, and it's been beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Just like it's just like waves, and then look, man, it's almost becoming just popular in the culture. You see a bunch of athletes, you know, professing their faith. You see young people coming in droves. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's so many people.
And this is going beyond, what has always existed, which is, people thanking God for their Grammy,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Or
this
people
is not
thanking
that.
God for their college championship or their Super Bowl victory. This is like, that is meaningless when the rest of the year, the rest of your life, you don't, mention God at all. You don't give glory to God, and you don't live in a way that honors him. And then you get up there and thank him for your award. It's pretty much meaningless. But when a person is obviously, trying to live it out, it's something totally different.
It's different, and you can see there's a genuineness there.
Right.
You can see it, and to go hand in hand with that, I saw this sometimes last year, but they said that in 2025 that Bible sales skyrocketed.
Wow.
Skyrocketed. It said that
Even with apps and everything else, the electronic
everything,
online versions, the actual physical copies of the Bible are selling through the roof.
100%. Yeah,
Well,
and
I'll be honest, as many Bibles as I have around the house, I just bought one just a month ago. I bought a
right,
new one.
right. But yeah, man, like, so you've seen this increase in people, like, just
Yeah,
having a hunger and a thirst for
right.
knowledge and righteousness. It's
Well,
it's refreshing, man.
hey, friends, I just want to tell you about my book, Everyday Lean. After 25 years of leading continuous improvement projects in the manufacturing world, I came to a simple realization. Lean applies to any process because every process has waste. Whether you're baking a cake, developing software, or building an F-15, the same principles apply. Everyday Lean gives language and structure to what you're likely already doing. It's all about helping people and organizations make their work better every day. Everyday Lean is available now on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles.